Awesome. Let me share my slides. Okay, does everyone see that? I'm guessing you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, okay. So yeah, these are the topics we're gonna cover today. I put all of your topic um recommendations or whatever you guys submitted into each of the slides, and we'll cover Solanaceae, Brassicacea, and Cucurbitaceae because those are usually the biggest topics, and then everything else I mostly put into the fourth slide under others. And we had a bunch of entries for flowers, so I made a whole slide for that. And then number six, I kind of put everything else in that wasn't directly related to varieties per se. So they were things like timing for, planting fall crops or how to do successions and things like that, which I think is interesting, but there's no guarantee we'll get to all of those topics in there, but I think we'll hit a few of those. Um, okay, and I guess I'll just introduce myself really quickly. I think most everyone knows me, but I'm Yoko. I own and operate Asawaga Farm in Putnam with my partner Alex. And this is my fifth time hosting this seed variety discussion, I think. And I really love it, and I hope it's really useful for everyone. And this is being recorded, so you don't have to, you know, oh wait, so actually I don't think I asked you, Ella. You are taking notes, right?
I am taking notes. Yes.
Okay.
So it's being recorded and I'm taking notes.
Okay. So I know MC has in the past done an amazing job taking notes. So that's always a really valuable resource. So definitely check it out. Okay, let's dive right in because I know we always run out of time towards the end. So, yep, this is tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, and definitely lots of entries for tomatoes. So, let's go over what grew well for everyone, starting with field tomatoes, which I stopped growing field tomatoes, so I can't contribute too much on this topic, but
My name's Ellie. Hi. Some of you I know. Hi. Sorry I was late. This was my request. I don't have any indoor growing space at the farm I manage, and we've been trying to grow two tomato varieties outside every year, and we always do like a big beef, big Dina, like those varieties, just like a big reliable slicer. But I'm struggling to find a second variety that I like every year. I switch number two. So everybody might not grow tomatoes outside, which I wish I could do.
I'm sure plenty of people still grow outside.
If you're in the market for a smaller one, clementine always does really well for us. It's just like crazy prolific, small, yellowy. It's like nice in a mix of small types.
Oh, you know what? I used to work at a farm that was, much bigger and did a ton of field tomatoes, and Juliet was like a big one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. We don't really grow big tomatoes outside, and those ones aren't big, but I always remember them being like amazing.
Yeah.
So I did Cajun and Big Beef as the slicers this year, which did well. In the cherry tomatoes, I did a number of them. The ones that were outstanding were Jasper. They're so sweet, but they're tiny, so they're kind of a pain to harvest. I usually just clip the whole vine, and sell them like that, but they're really sweet.
We do a lot of, well, we do mostly high tunnel, but we do a couple rows out in the field also. But we graft all of our tomatoes, so this might not be pertinent. But for our cherries, we really stick to cherry bomb. That thing is pretty much bulletproof in the field, grafted or ungrafted. We tried, what else did we do this year? Sweet Treats also is just like a bulletproof variety, and it's fantastic producer. Gold Spark, which is a yellow grape. It seems to just be able to push through most diseases. you know, whatever we get, especially later into the fall season. Um, we did, oh my God, what was it? Sun peach
Which
also,
one-
which is a
What
sun
was the second one you said? Sweet shake?
sweet
What was
treats.
sweet treats?
It's awesome.
Where's it from?
We get sweet treats from Paramount, but a lot of places offer it.
Okay.
If you guys are actually looking for really good prices on some of the bigger named varieties, Paramount Seeds down in Florida has some really awesome prices. We get all of our root stock for grafting from them too. So that's for our cherries. Sun Orange did really well as well. So the Sun series is pretty good. We dropped Sun Golds just because they're just so finicky and they crack way too easily. And so they just never make it to market. So we dropped that and replace it with Sun Orange. As far as the slicers, Cayman is always a standout. We've grown it for years. Let me see. What is it? I forgot which one. Damsel's another one. Pink ID. We trialed that series from Johnny's that they just put out last year. We did a lot of those. Pink ID was one of them. It did great. I think Strawberry Fields also did great, and that's from Johnny's too. Hot Streak did good. Chef's Choice, that kind of always does well. The orange. Cacao does really well. And then we do a Big Beef Plus. We notice that the Big Beef Plus is actually just a little bit more robust than the Big Beef with the same really nice flavor. As far as plums, it's really hit or miss. We're sticking with Pisano for plums. It's pretty good. It's just really tough, so it's not really our favorite, but it's pretty much bulletproof. That's all I got.
Cool. Thanks for the contribution.
I can
I
write stuff down too if it's easier.
What did you say?
I can just in the chat or something, or I could just send you guys an email later of the varieties that we like to plant in our field.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you wanna, you can write that down in the comments or send it out. Um, yeah, one thing that Ian, who normally always joins this session, because he trials a ton of varieties and just contributes a whole bunch to the discussion, but he told me that Pink ID did really, really well for him this year. It's just a pink variety that apparently takes a little while to mature, but that it's like solid and tastes good. So
I just want to echo the sun peach cherry. We did that in the tunnels, and the crew all was like obsessed with the taste. It's really
yeah,
mild and it's not that acidic, but it's so yummy.
It is
it's so
delicious.
good.
It's like absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I think from this discussion last year, I decided to grow some peach and it was great. So then let's move to grafted tomatoes. And I'm sure we'll come back to more varieties once we move into like indoor tomatoes, but um well, I don't really know what this person really meant by grafted tomatoes. I mean, maybe I don't know if they were interested in the rootstock or I feel like all tomatoes does better for us anyway,
Yeah,
grafted.
I didn't ask the question, but I guess my question would be, is it worth the effort to do that? And if so, how does that happen? What do you use as rootstock?
Right? I've heard both sides. Like Rachel, I know you guys have done grafted and not grafted, and it turns out that not grafting is totally fine for you guys. For us, it's been black and white. Like grafting just completely changes the game. It's just much more vigorous and disease resistant, and the vigor is the biggest thing I would say. But
I think it's very contextual. You got to know what's in your fields. I mean, we came into this situation with a ton of stuff from years and years before us of over farming and taking all the nutrients and leaving disease everywhere from other people that were on the land before us. So grafting for us is pretty much a necessity for us to actually have healthy plants more or less throughout the season. And then the vigor is huge and the fruit production is huge. Also, there's just a big difference. It's a lot more work, but the results outweigh everything that you put into it.
Yeah, we stopped grafting a couple years ago. We had always done it in the tunnels, and then our like where we bought it from, it was unavailable, so we just kind of had to by necessity not graft 1 year. And I think we've just found that like a vigorous hybrid in the tunnel does fine, like I didn't notice any huge change. That being said, out in the field, it probably would make a difference, but we just do too many. It would be too expensive and time intensive, I think.
Anybody else have something to say about grafting tomatoes?
What's a popular rootstock?
Sorry.
Oh, right, the rootstock. Kirsten, you want to share your?
Yeah, so for us, like I said, we have a lot of stuff in our soil. We have a ton of the, bad fusarium. We have verticillium. We have stuff going on that we didn't know we had until we took over the space. And so what we did when we opened up new ground is we actually sent out soil samples for testing for the main diseases that are common for us. And so that's an option for anybody opening up new space or actually wanting to know what's in their soil. So there is a company that does testing. It is expensive, but it's worth it, especially when it comes to things like Phytophthora or Verticillium. So like we know what we can and cannot plant in certain spaces. And the grafting just helps a lot of that, especially if the rootstock is tolerant to those diseases.
Well, so I use the DRO 141TX rootstock for um, all slicers and the Estamino rootstock for all cherries. I did use DRO last year for cherries, and the DRO is more so vegetative, so I feel like it kind of compromised on like the fruiting, um, the extent to how much it fruited. So
Kirsten, what's the name of the company that will do the testing with the diseases?
I'll have to get back to you. Do you remember the name of the
Okay,
company?
no
Yeah, let
worries.
me get back to you. It's been a few years.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
all right, dark tomato varieties.
Yeah, if anybody has like a bulletproof dark purple tomato, that would be wonderful. We have yet to find one.
Me too. So we basically can only grow leaf mold resistant varieties at this point, and there's just Mar Noir, which was terrible this year for us. And we also tried Cuba Libre. I think that's another purple one, and that was also terrible. So now I'm
Oh, I
like,
wanted to do that this year. Shoot.
I'm bad. So I'm back to like I don't have any purples. Um, but I don't know if anyone else has better luck.
Nope, they're all bad.
Does pink boar count as a purple? It's like red and green together. That's purpley.
I love pink boar.
Hunger.
It's so pretty.
Okay, so you guys mostly don't grow purples or just kind of grow them just to have for a short period of time kind of thing?
Don't grow 'em.
Yeah, I know I love purple varieties, so it sucks. Let's go for best tomatoes, just regardless of its environment or just your best tomatoes.
I really like the BHN 871 has a really good name, rolls off the tongue. From Johnny's. It's a yellow determinate, but it is like phenomenal. It tastes good, it grows great. It's like awesome.
Hmm. And that's a determinant, right? Or is it?
Yeah, although like I don't know, they say they're determinate. I've always been tempted to actually try to grow them. I might next year do like 4 plants of each like as an indeterminate because they just keep growing and growing. So I'd be curious to know what they did if treated as an indeterminate. But yes, they're like marketed as a determinate.
Right.
I Rach, I put the name of the company in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so who hasn't shared? Holly, what was your best tomato?
What was our best tomato? We both are shoveling food in.
Oh, okay, no
The
worries.
orange marmalades were
I think
great.
the orange marmalade, yeah.
They were field and yellow, and people love them. And sort of low acid and just not blemished, and they sort of were they did really
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
We had a massive crow problem early in the season with crows coming and like literally pecking our biggest fruit to death. So we had to throw netting over, 200 feet of
Oh,
staked tomatoes in the field. That was fun.
never heard of that.
Yep. And apparently there's a crow season in Connecticut. Starts August 10th. So
Okay.
we did that.
Hunting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Varmints.
But the orange marmalade was probably
Yeah, that was a surprise. We hadn't grown it in the past. I mean, just cherries. I mean, somebody said sun golds split, but they're really good. And if you get them in time, people just love them.
Yeah.
What else? We didn't do the hot streak. We did those last year. We didn't like them. Yeah. So yeah. Orange
Okay.
marmalade. But we're organic, so we have to, we can't, we don't have as many choices.
Okay, let's specifically go into cherry tomato varieties for best flavor. We already talked about some peach.
We did green bee this year. It was nice, tasty, although some people just don't want to buy green tomatoes, but they were tasty.
So
We
from
do-
last year's, oh, go ahead.
oh,
But
sorry.
they're probably not, they're more like a cocktail size. They're not, they're bigger than a cherry, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do sun green every year from Johnny's. I think Osborne also offers sun green. The genetics aren't as, I forget, actually, maybe I don't know if Johnny's has it. Yeah, so sun green from Johnny's is the variety that does really well. We did the sun green from Osborne 2 years ago or last year, and it was awful. So even though it has roughly the same name, the genetics are just slightly different, and it just
Yeah.
was terrible.
Probably grown by different.
Yep.
seeds.
So the one at Johnny's, the Sun Green 4029 is the one that we do, and it's awesome flavor. It's so delicious. And we just stick it into mixed pints. So we do have people that come back just for the sun green, which is great.
Yeah, so from last year's conversation, I tried a whole bunch of new ones, and Toronjina sucked. The flavor was terrible. Like actually, Kirsten, you said. And Sun Orange was great. Um, just kind of like our basic orange cherry. Some peach we already talked about, and then we did try the Gold Spark, which was super loaded, super productive, but it was a little bit slow to ripen. Um, and it was a little bit hard to tell, like, the harvester to like when at what stage to pick them. And then yeah, citrine we tried, but that had an okay flavor, but yeah, that had leaf mold that wasn't resistant, so I got leaf mold pretty quick. And then the Sakura was, I'm sure a lot of people grow it, but yeah, it was like okay productivity during the season, and then it got like really productive like towards the end. So that was a nice surprise.
We are dropping Sakura this year.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying the quality is getting worse.
Worse.
But it's
They
so hard to tell. I mean, what if this seed lot is better, you know?
I can't risk the 20 plants I have to have an unknown. So
What
we're gonna drop it, and we're just gonna focus more on like cherry bomb.
Okay.
Is just what works for us. We're also dropping Esterina. Esterina was great, and then I don't know what happened. It got really bad.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we tried that for the first time this year. Also, same like you were saying, Yoko, it was really hard to tell like what color it was supposed to be. I was like having a lot of trouble with that.
For the Gold Spark?
No, for the Estorina.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I hear from these seed discussions a lot is that, one thing might be really good and then the following year it's, not as good. Like I remember last year, Paul Pachalia saying that about Cayman and how the quality just dropped. So yeah, it's just really hard to know every year what you're gonna get.
Well, for us, Sakura hasn't been performing the last few years
Yeah.
with Esterina. So usually we'll give it like one more shot, like another year. And if it still
Yeah.
is the same poor quality, then we just move it on.
Right, right. Has anyone grown the something Mimi? Uh what was that from Johnny's? Shoot, what is it called? It's the yellow cherry.
Maybe. There
Something.
was another yellow one that I tried. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Let me just quickly.
Oh, you know what we did this year that actually did really well was
Yeah.
it was sweet treats. Like loaded. The plants were absolutely loaded with
Yeah,
fruit
you
and
mentioned.
the fruit lasted forever once harvested and it had a really, really good flavor. It's more of like a grape variety.
Okay, sweet treats. Yeah, TY Yellow Mimi. It used
Yellow mini. Is that what you were thinking of, Yoko?
well, it used to be, it says that it's replacing Yellow Mini and it's called Yellow Mimi now, but
Oh.
probably similar. It says improved disease resistance on the TY Yellow Mimi.
Where are you looking?
It's Johnny's. It's a new variety,
Like,
TY Yellow Mimi.
oh, okay.
We grew the yellow mini this past year for the first time. I
How
don't know.
was
It was outside. It was fine. I don't
okay,
know. Also, I wanted the yellow mini and the Esterina to be different colors, but they seem to sort of like converge on themselves.
okay,
So
okay.
Can someone tell me what like 15 grams is what they supposed to look like, please? Like size wise? Do we
Uh,
know what size like these
it
are
might
supposed
be
to
a
actually
little bit
come out to be?
bigger because I think this is okay. Let's just see what Sakura is then, just to compare. So this is 20 to 22
Oh,
grams.
okay, so it's just a little smaller, that's all. Like a sun gold or a
Yeah,
sun.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yoko, can you look up Esterina real quick and tell me what that size said? I'm just curious.
How do you what is it? Esta, I don't even know how to
Oh,
what it
maybe they don't have it anymore.
Harris,
EST.
it's Harris. Harris has it. And so does
Oh, it's not from Johnny's. Okay, never mind.
yeah, I don't think it'll say. Johnny's is very
Yeah, no worries. You can, yeah.
uh half to yeah, 0.5 to 1 ounces for the Esterina rate.
Okay, cool.
okay, so lastly, yeah, greenhouse tomatoes varieties. Okay, I want to ask if anyone's grown lemon boy because I've never grown it and I'm thinking of trying it. How is it, Kirsten?
The first year we did it, it was awful. And then it was great this year.
What? Outside or inside?
Both.
Okay.
It
How
was
was it
just a little
that?
inconsistent, but for some reason this year it just did its thing.
Hmm,
We also grew Tough Boy Gold, which was pretty comparable, just a little off color and a little different size, but kind of the same growth pattern that we noticed.
okay.
Which variety are you talking about, Yoko?
Lemon boy.
Mm.
It seems like it's like really up there in the, how Johnny's you know, if you order it by what's most popular, it's like one of the top ones and I've never really thought about it. So any
Oh,
last words
there's
about
also Lemon Boy Plus. There's a Lemon Boy, just like there's Big Beef, and then there's
yeah.
Big Beef Plus. There's Lemon Boy Plus also.
Hmm.
Did you do plus this year and
The
last?
plus.
Okay.
But we did the plus both times. It could just have been something, I don't know.
Right, right.
Are there any other like yellow or orange that people liked in the tunnels? We did Hot Streak this year, which is like the stripy one, and that was really nice. I think it was probably our best producer. We also did Pink Wonder, which I think is
Terrible.
fine. I think the flavor is just fine and that it gets green shoulders, which is annoying. And we also tried Ruby Dawn, which was Johnny's, and they tell you not to like they tell you to stake it even in the tunnel, which was interesting. And I found that it cracked a lot, but it was pretty good.
I don't know. Ian and I are on the same page about Pink Wonder cracking before it even turns any color. It just splits so easily.
It was awful.
It's awful. Don't grow it.
Don't do it.
For us, the bee orange also really cracked a lot. Not many non-cracked ones.
We did
Anybody have
Marmalade
yellow?
Skies, and I think that did okay. I don't remember.
What is it?
Marmalade Skies. It's one of that series from Johnny's.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of went to town on the Johnny series that they put out last year.
Yeah.
It was just so comparable to the Chef's Choice that I couldn't even really tell which one was which in the field and in the tunnel.
Mhm.
Did anyone do Margold?
No, but I want to hear anybody who has.
You did
We
what?
did
Margold.
It was
we
awful.
did it for a few years and it was like really good and then it was like not as good and I don't know, we just like have been I don't know, it's when we're growing the like sort of slicers, red slicers that are like meant for the tunnel, and then you like just compare that to really anything else. It's just like really hard to feel like it's worth it to like put the
Yeah.
other stuff in there. So I don't know. Yeah. We still grow goldies though because we love them so much, but I don't know how productive they are, but we just love them too much. But
It's
I'm
called.
worried they're gonna go away because they're from Fedco, and I feel like it's like every year I'm like, I don't know, maybe they'll go away forever.
All right. Okay, let's go into greenhouse peppers.
It's been a few years since I did bell peppers inside, but I used to grow Sprinter, Intruder, both of those like pruned in a greenhouse, and it was really for a fall crop actually, like fall into late fall, and they both did really well always.
Anybody else?
We did Lilo and Ollie this year in the tunnel. One of them is red and one of them is purple. I can't remember. And I wasn't super impressed by either of them. I thought that they just produced like the same as the outdoor ones.
Lilo is the purple one.
That's from where?
I think they're Johnny's. Let me check.
Okay.
We trialed the two SBPB ones that Johnny's put out last year that aren't named yet. It's a yellow and an orange. And they did great in both the field and the tunnel.
What is this? SB.
SVPB from Johnny's. We just get BLS all the time. And these were pretty robust. And the flavor was good, which is almost more important.
Oh.
We tried Dragonfly because we were struggling to find another purple Islander. We couldn't get seeds for Islander last year for some reason, so we did Dragonfly, and that thing was great. The issue is it just stayed in the green stage for too long, and it didn't really have time to ripen before we got hit with the hail. And then so I don't really know how it would have looked once it was ripe,
Yeah.
but it was awesome. Like it was so beautiful.
Right. High yield and disease resistant bell peppers. Indoor or outdoor? Oh, sorry. I feel like for us, bell peppers have always been very on the unproductive side outside. So
We're trying to focus more on fryers now. Well, just a little bit more on fryers, just because they're much
yeah,
more tolerant of everything.
yeah,
But the market likes the bells better, so we can't really
I know.
shift too much.
All right, then flavorful eggplants.
We grow shiku, which it always seems like it's gonna be at like high mowing or something, and then it's always sold out, and I have to go to Harris or something. But it's dark purple. It's very productive, especially like early on, and it's delicious.
SHIKU?
KOU.
Oh, you. Oh, shiko.
So we, I really like, I haven't tried that one, Rach. We've been looking at that one for a couple years and just haven't bid on it yet because we really
Yeah.
like Turkish delight, which is, and
Mm-hmm.
it is that thing, that plant is just awesome. Yeah, it's a good, I don't know. How do you know a flavorful eggplant when you cook it? I don't think any eggplant tastes very good.
I think the ping tongue is
Oh,
good.
not true.
It's really sweet and creamy. It's never bitter. The skin is,
Yeah,
yeah, I really like that.
agreed. We grow that one. I like that one too.
We grow, I don't know if I've said this in the past, but yeah, we always grow it, called mitoyo. Actually, I don't even know where we buy it. Definitely sold by, Rare Seeds, Baker Creek. But yeah, it's a variety that a farmer in Japan introduced us to, and then like magically the next year or something, Baker Creek started carrying that variety. So it was like perfect. But yeah, I love that variety. It's one of the, Japanese eggplants usually are harvested small, but this one is very large, so it's pretty unusual for an Asian eggplant. Okay,
Dancer is always good. It's nice and soft and tender.
what's always good?
Dancer. And
Dance.
it seems to just push out fruit all season long when other ones kind of taper off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, should we move on? Anybody else have things to say about tomatoes, peppers, or eggplants? Or questions?
We grew diamond eggplant this year for the first time, and it was a really nice, like smaller size. So you don't have to wait around for like Black Beauty or whatever to get nice and chunky. It's just like a little guy, but not as thin as the Asian ones. I would recommend it.
Right. So moving on to brassicas, and the times 3 and times 2, that just means that, this many people submitted the same topics. So yeah, broccoli and cauliflower. Well, we're still growing BC, what is it, 1611? And it's does really well. We've been growing that for a few years now. And then cauliflower, we do song, and those are, my God, so productive. It's insane. Song TJS 65.
Yoko, do you just do cauliflower in the fall, or do you do any spring cauliflower also?
You spring as well as 2 in the fall. So we do 3 plantings, and it's insane.
Cool.
Very profitable.
Is song a bunching one or is it whole heads?
So you can harvest it when it's, looks like a regular cauliflower, so it's tightly, tight. But we wait for it to extend out. And that's kind of, so it's a Chinese type with green stems, like elongated stems. So technically, I think it is supposed to be stretched out a little bit. So we wait till it kind of starts to, you know, separate out.
Yoko, what variety is that again?
Song TJS
Oh, yeah.
65.
Yeah. What's your spacing on that one? We did it last year and I think it was just two, I don't know. What's your spacing on it?
2 by 18, 2 rows, 18-inch spacing.
Yeah, okay, that's where we were at. Just take up too much space for us. I liked it. It was delicious.
Yeah, it's
I think we might have done 2 rows 12. I'll have to double check, but
it gets massive, so that's probably our biggest spacing in the field is for the cauliflower. So anybody else have interesting varieties for those?
I don't know if I would consider it interesting, but we have a lot of like black rot problems with broccoli, but we were able to use Emerald Crown in the fall this year. It did really well. So if anyone has issues with that specifically.
Yeah, Ian was saying that his broccoli, which is the BC 1611, got a lot of black rot this year. So.
Yeah, ours did too. We have a big issue with black rot. I sent you that question on the disease tolerant ones because we struggle big time in the fall with black rot.
Huh, even when it was like so droughty?
We have it. It's just when you have it, you have it. It's kind of like even though we move around, our fields are too small to really get away from it.
Mm,
And it wasn't bad until we got a little bit more rain.
right. Hmm. Yeah, anybody have disease resistant varieties for black rot and fusarium? I swear one year we thought we definitely had black rot on the turnips, but then I don't know, we didn't see it after that. I'm not so good with like sending samples like you guys. So we're always like, might be that, might be this. Um, okay, so arugula succession planting, which actually 2 people submitted, which that was interesting. And actually, I think in the miscellaneous somebody also wanted to know about year round? Yeah, arugula planting. Actually, I don't know what this person really wanted to get out of this, but we direct seed arugula every single week of our season. And we use Esme. We have been for a few years now. And I love Esme. It's got like really nice loft. So it kind of, once you pack it in a bag, it doesn't just settle. Um, yeah, this year we started tarping to kill off the arugula and it works so well. I really like it now.
I submitted one of those requests, and it was because we have customers who would both retail and wholesale who would love to have arugula, but in the summer we've had problems kind of keeping it from bolting and whatever. So when we did the tour at your place, you mentioned that you had done it. You had been planting pretty frequently and harvesting pretty frequently.
Yeah, we've never had issues with bolting. Yeah, definitely in the summer we only get 1 cut, but in the spring and fall you get 2 cuts, even 3 in the fall. So and the spring sometimes. So it's really quite good. And I think our customers are kind of hooked on arugula. So but it's nice to have it every week. And it hasn't been an issue in the summer for us really. If you have problems with flea beetles, we basically direct seed it and then we put row cover on it immediately. And then just water through the row cover or insect netting. And you just don't uncover it until you're harvesting it. Does anyone use other varieties for arugula?
We've done Astro, but we're terrible at growing arugula, so I'm not really sure if that's going to be helpful.
Well,
Yeah, we've done Astro, which we don't really, the flavor is just kind of bland to us. We've done kind of Boletzia, which is a pretty, has a pretty good flavor and bite to it.
it's more like a wild, spiky, kind of robust, rugged arugula, more like you find in Italy, not the bland kind of lobed leaves that you find here.
But Boletzia is tough to do in the kind of the heat of the summer. So
Yeah.
trying to,
Yeah, I mean arugula changes, the flavor is different throughout the season.
yeah.
But yeah, Esme is, I think, delicious. Okay, let's move on to cucurbits then. All right, a lot of people submitted winter squash, which I thought was interesting. So pest tolerant, high yield, winter squash.
Autumn frost, honey nut, delicata.
Black futsu. Awesome.
I also love the black futsu that survived when everything else died this year. The black futsu was just cranking.
You just
Nice.
have to like explain to people that it is okay to look the way it does.
Yep. Yeah. And eat the skin, folks.
Eat this.
Yeah. We did delicata, red curry, and baby butternuts, which have gone over well because they're a little easier to cut and easier to cook, but they have the same flavor. Small, just basically smaller butternuts.
We did brulee for a small butternut. And then we tried, I gotta get my notes. We tried, what is the one from Johnny's? Oh my gosh, I can't even. Where my notes are.
Winter sweet,
Huh?
winter sweet.
No, it was another, oh, butterscotch. I think that one was from Johnny's, and that did okay. I
Yeah.
don't know if I like it. So have you guys heard of Seedwise? Seedwise, yeah, Seedwise. It's an online, like a source for these small farms, seed saving farms, to sell their seeds through. And we've been growing one butternut variety from, I want to say it's somewhere down in Virginia, a farm down there. It's called South Anna, and it just is a powerhouse of a butternut. It has some variations because it's not fully stabilized yet, but it is awesome. We tried another new butternut from them. It's I don't know how to pronounce it, XIYE. And that thing was pretty gnarly. I mean, the size of the fruit that it put out was insane. And it was delicious. I'll try to find more information and put it in the chat.
The next one, winter squash for small scale. I don't know what that totally means, but I mean, we can't really grow winter squash much here because yeah, because of the how it sprawls, but anybody have any recommendations for small scale winter squash growing?
Yoko, do you grow a lot of onions?
Uh, we try, but we are terrible at growing onions. This year we had a terrible year.
The reason I'm saying that because what we do, because we're so well, you know how small we are, we're so small
Yeah.
that we plant a row of onions, we skip a row, and then we plant another row of onions, and then in that middle row that isn't planted is where we put our winter squash. So by the time it starts vining out, we're pulling the onions are already pulled. Does that make sense? So we have three rows.
Yeah.
Outside rows are onions or
Right.
shallot, whatever, and then
Yeah.
inside row is the winter squash. So as it starts to all vine out.
Yeah. We do that for watermelon. We grow watermelon and I make it so that the arugula next to it is done right when it starts
Right.
to take over. Yeah, I think it would, yeah, I don't think it would fit. And also pretty much every end bed in our, 6 fields is just used for watermelons and other cucurbits. So there's not much rotation going on. Um, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, and then our onions are shit anyway, so they can just yeah. Um, right. Hardy summer squash varieties. Yeah, what do we do this
I feel like I hardly even have to say it, but Zephyr.
year?
Yeah, Zephyr is just
We also did safari this year for the first time, which is like a striped zucchini, and it's so cute, and the customers loved it, and it was really great. It was like a late season. It held up for a long time.
We grow Dario that is very, very productive. And sometimes if I walk away for like more than 12 hours, and then I'm like, oh my God.
Wait, what is it? Dolly? Dario?
Dario. Dario. Also a striped zucchini.
Yeah, our tried and tested is just our well, we tried Green Machine this year because everybody talked about it last year, which I think it was okay. And then shoot, what's it called? Oh, Dunja, which is what we've always been going, but it's nice to do two varieties because they come in sort of different timing.
We do those two, Yoko, that you do, and Cash Machine if it's available, and Desert for the Zooks, and then Delta and Grand Prize is the yellow. Most people don't want yellow squash anymore, so we don't plant much of it. But
Huh.
those two are pretty good.
Delta what?
Delta, and then
Oh,
Grand,
that it's just Delta.
it's just Delta, and then Grand Prize. They're both, like, well, I don't know. I don't know where we got them from.
So we grew yellowfin this year, and it's first time. It just grew very, very orange. It wasn't yellow, it was really orange, so people were very interested in it. I don't know what was in our soil, why it turned orange, but it was really tasty too. It was sweet.
Cool. All right. Well, look, I feel like we've already talked a lot about winter squash, unless somebody else has something to say.
I have a question for
Yeah.
whoever. Has anybody heard of avocado squash? We got asked by like 4 or 5 different people at market at random times throughout the
Mm.
season. And it looks like a winter squash that's just harvested really early. But has anybody heard of it or grown it? Because it like blew my mind when we had so many people asking. I'm like, where do you guys even know or find this stuff? And I don't even know about it.
Probably in like a, New York Times recipe or something.
Oh my God, you're probably right. Everybody comes to market with recipes. That's
Oh,
probably
maybe it's viral on TikTok or something.
maybe.
Totally.
We grow Magda, which like I guess looks kind of similar to this, and it's so yummy. I think it's the yummiest summer squash.
Yeah, we do Magda, and if we could find it, Alexandria also, which is like a longer version of the Magda and a little skinnier.
It looks cute.
I've grown this one that you have up, Yoko, and it did well. I would recommend it.
Hmm. It's very cute.
It says it's a Korean squash, the avocado.
This one says Mexican. Maybe there are different ones. Okay, so cucumbers.
I always shell out for the Corinto seed. I find it's worth it.
Agreed.
We like Corinto obviously because it's the best. If we could find it, Lagos, usually Fedco. I think Fedco may have it. And then generally is another one that we've done, and they're both pretty good. I couldn't find Lagos last year. I don't know if they dropped it or if something was going on. Which really bummed me out because I like that one a lot.
Has anyone done Corinto in a tunnel, or is this all in the field?
Yes, I have it in a tunnel.
We only do tunnel.
Okay, great. We did Diva in the tunnel this past year. It was terrible. Do not recommend.
It's too soft skinned. It doesn't store.
I've also heard the bad things about Diva.
Has anyone done an Armenian striped cucumber? I heard they're really disease resistant.
I grew some a couple years ago. I could look up the variety. I had them outside. They did well. But for our context, it just didn't make sense to keep growing them. I'll find the variety for you. Give me a few minutes.
We did a variety called Socrates, also similarly in the high tunnel, very soft and just easily damaged and not that flavorful.
Mm.
Is anybody like killing it growing cucumbers indoors?
Digga.
In tunnels,
Yeah,
Yoko?
yeah, in tunnels.
Yeah, that's all we grow because we get slammed by beetles outdoors, so we just stick them inside.
And is it growing really well? I mean, does it grow? Oh, you're off. The mic is off.
Yep, that would be helpful. Sorry. We train our single stem like you guys do outside, but it works for us. We have 7 rows in our tunnel, and we put it in the middle row. So we have the 2 tomato rows, eggplant row, pepper row, and in the middle is our cucumber. And it just ends up working out really well.
Huh. Yeah, we tried cucumbers indoors this year for the first time in a long time, and we were very underwhelmed. So
Yeah, I feel very stumped by it because we get, even if it's only a little bit of cucumber beetle damage, and we're gonna get a little bit of cucumber beetle damage. Like they're everywhere, they're outside, they're coming into the tunnels. And then it's just like bacterial wilt, one by one, they just fall so intensely.
it's more that it's like not fruiting that much for us, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
MC, we have the same experience you do. I was like very demoralized. I was like, I don't know what else I can possibly do to like keep all of the beetles out. But we just have like kept trying and like I don't know why, but it's gotten like incrementally better over the last 3 years. Also, this year I watered them so much,
Huh.
and I don't know if that's part of the reason that why, but like I don't know. They were very happy at the beginning, and I watered them like maybe 5 times as much as I've ever watered them before.
So how often is that, Rachel?
I think I was doing it like every other day for
For
like
like
an hour probably.
an hour?
We watered ours twice a day in the heat of the
Same.
summer, like for 25 or 30 minutes twice a day.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that much, Rachel, I don't think. An hour every other
No, I think I just was watering them like not at all before, which I think might have been my problem.
day. Yeah, who
Have a
uh,
good seedless variety? Sorry, Yoko.
oh no, not at all. What did you say?
I said, did anybody have a good seedless variety?
Well, we normally grow just like Japanese cucumbers and so we harvest them pretty young. Um yeah, a lot of the Japanese varieties, I feel like the disease resistance list is
Right?
not correct. Like
I know, yeah.
yeah, so yeah.
We grew it's not Japanese. We grew Tasty Green, which is supposed to have a smaller seed cavity. It was delicious, but the yield wasn't there. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We got powdery mildew pretty early this year, so
Yoko, are you saying that their disease resistance profile is like underselling their disease resistance or over
over
promising?
over promising.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's just not accurate. Like some varieties don't say it's resistant to something and would be resistant. So yeah, some of them are underselling, I guess, but and then next to something that should be resistant and totally getting disease. So it just hasn't been super accurate in my experience. Best melons.
Sugar Baby always does pretty good for us for watermelons.
I like Arava.
We do Natsu cocoa.
We do Athena for antelope.
What was yours again, Yoko? Could you spell it?
Natsu cocoa, Natsu, which means summer in Japanese, and cocoa, Cocoa. So this year we didn't really have a good watermelon year, so the yield was pretty bad, but in the past it's been really good. Usually our watermelon yield is really good, but I don't know what happened this year.
I grew Sugar Baby and Natsu Cocoa this year, and the Natsu Cocoa is a bit earlier than the Sugar Baby, which is nice. But our Sugar Babies got so big. They were like not babies at all. It was crazy. It was kind of out of control. So it was almost problematic how large they were getting. It was unexpected.
I feel like those really vary. Like, because we always try to get the smallest watermelon varieties, and like they're all over the place. Sometimes it's massive, and some of them are small. Okay, and then I don't know why I separated this. Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
No, did someone mention Cracker Jack? I don't know if someone mentioned that.
No,
We did that, and it was they were really sweet. They were good. I didn't plant a lot of them, so I don't know how well they'll do, but
yeah,
we only had like 10 seeds. It was like a trial.
right. And then open pollinated cucumber varieties. Anyone grow those? I Okay, so unfortunately we can't help this person out. All right, let's move into others. So organic storage onions.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Hmm.
I've been growing Pattersons, which are not organic, because I thought they were like massively better than all other storage onions, and I've been underwhelmed with them for the past 3 years. So I was wondering since I need a new variety anyway, what people's organic yellow storage onions. I also take red ones, but I think I'm more excited about yellow.
We've done New York early. Every year we do that one. And then Talon we did this year and it was or last 2 years and it was great. I think they're organic.
Who sprays their onions with like stuff like nickel and what's the other thing?
Purpose.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I do. We have really bad purple blotch. So
Okay. I
if
just
anyone knows of any like resistant purple blotch, resistant or tolerant onions, that would be amazing if you could share that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm asking because I noticed a grower on Instagram growing really nice onions and then found out that they are spraying like a lot of stuff on it because they had a really bad onion year the year before. Um, so pretty sure they're organic. So
For another red variety, I really have fallen in love with Rosa di Milano. That's like a real nice flavor and they're really good performers. And I always store some, it sounds crazy, but I cure and store some Ailsa Craigs as like a backup because they always grow pretty big and they do pretty well in storage. Like they can't cross the new year really, but they get you through like the Thanksgiving, early, winter times. So I don't know.
sorry, I'm not helpful in this.
We do, yeah, we've done Rosa and it's fantastic. We do actually Rosa every year. And then Monastrell also, which is the same like vase shape.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing Monostrell too for a bunch of years, and it's pretty good. I like it.
Okay, heat tolerant lettuce. So one thing we discussed in our very first seed variety discussion, I believe, was that the Johnny's rep was here, or Julie, and she said that usually cold tolerant lettuces are also heat tolerant lettuces. So I've been, you know, reminded of that like every year. So something like Muir, I feel like are both heat and cold tolerant.
I'm like gonna disagree wholeheartedly with the fact that some cold tolerants are also heat or that they all are both. No.
Oh, well, mm, yeah, I don't know.
We do successions of Salanova almost pretty much all summer, and they do pretty well through spring into fall.
Yeah, like Skyphos, I do year round and they're very heat tolerant and very cold tolerant. Um,
Tropicana does really great in the height of the summer for us.
heat tolerant.
We do for heat tolerant in the summer for a red leaf, we do Cherokee, which is pretty okay. And then Lovelock is another one that I like for the summer.
Yeah, Cherokee is definitely one that comes up as very heat tolerant, but I found that it gets bitter quite easily. So stopped growing it a while ago. What else do we grow? Anybody else? Fall head lettuce, mini varieties.
This is also me. So our Salanova, this year, I know that you guys have told me every year to stop growing Salanova in the fall, and you're totally right. And I just wanted to keep doing it. And this year it rained not at all, and there was powdery mildew everywhere, and I don't understand, and it makes me very angry. But we're also like not very good at growing head lettuce. So I'm hoping that maybe there's like something that's easy to grow in the fall that's lettucey that won't get powdery mildew, but that might be a pipe dream.
So I haven't been growing Salanova for some years now, Rachel, and then I started growing it this fall again, and I did see some powdery mildew. So for the first time,
Oh, even at Asawaga, that's crazy. Okay, that makes
but
me feel a
only
little
on the
better.
green crisper, one of the other.
Mm.
I didn't see it on the other ones. But my fall head, so do Skyphos, obviously. And then I've always done green butters thinking like, oh, it's great to a certain point, and then it just doesn't tolerate. I've tried so many varieties and it just doesn't tolerate the cold that well. And then Terrain Sky, I did last year too, but this year, because it was so dry, it was magnificent. But if it is a little bit wet, it does get that bottom kind of rotty thing. But that was like amazing this year. And yeah, I started doing like magenta again, which I used to do years ago, and those are like such bulletproof like heads, I feel like. It will just grow no matter what. Um, and and then for summer heads, I do summer and spring, I do New Red Fire, and I love New Red Fire. Grown it from the beginning, and I just don't get tired of it. It does get bolty, but like I love that variety. So you got to pick it before it bolts.
Does anyone have a recommendation? I like New Red Fire too, by the way. It's really tender and sweet.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a recommendation for a red romaine?
We've done Rouge de Verre. It's fine. It's not a strong recommendation, but
Okay, I will
like
cross that out.
I feel like red romaines are like red cabbages where it's like it's so hard to find like the white whale that everyone's. I remember when we had the Johnny's person on and she was like, "Yeah, red things don't grow as well." And so it was just like hard. It's just like hard to find them that do as well as the green ones.
Red romaine for us, we had these night, oh, was it Leonardo? What was it called? It's kind of a vertical one. It was really beautiful. It tasted great, but like customers didn't understand what it was. Is it lettuce? Is it radicchio? It was sort of not, it was delicious, but it kind of felt flat. I forget what it specifically was. Steve's looking it up.
Trying to find it.
Yeah.
Okay, bolt resistant.
Underplanted it with the peppers. So we underplanted it with like the Jimmy Nardellos and the eggplants and things. So that was good. After the rabbits ate 50-foot bed of newly planted ones, we had to start over. So yeah. But it was nice.
Bolt resistant Salanova seed varieties, which I didn't know they bolted, but
So the ones that we still grow, we grow the butterheads, but only in the spring and the fall because they bolt way too fast in the summertime. So we grow green sweet crisp, red Batavia, red incised. Those are all have done really well for us and don't really bolt at all. And then from last year, 2 years ago, maybe's discussion, we grew intercut, which is not technically a Salanova, I don't think, but has been really awesome. And I really want an oak leaf. I grew some red tango, but it's pretty bolty, but sometimes I grow it anyway because I like it.
We did the Easy series, Easy Floor, Easy Park,
Oh yeah, Easy Floor. Also
whatever.
sorry.
They were all great. I don't think that the taste is amazing, but I'm not a big lettuce guy, so they were fine. The good producers.
all right, best popcorn varieties.
I don't even know what that is.
Who grows popcorn here?
Oh, you mean popcorn, like corn?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like that, I thought that was like a type of lettuce or something.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were joking.
From lettuce to popcorn. Okay, I get it.
Oh, right, right. Yeah,
We're in
this
the other
has a bunch
section.
of
Got it.
different
Okay.
things. Yeah. Okay. I guess somebody yeah wrote this that isn't here in the audience. So all right, fast growing greens. I was wondering if anyone grows beet greens. No? I was thinking like maybe I could squeeze a planting in like at the end or something, but
Yeah, we've done beet greens. I don't know if it would qualify for what you just said, but uh, I think we did two successions of it.
was it worth it?
Not really.
Not really. And
Like,
customers, if you're throwing it in with their salanova in their salad, they don't, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really,
we would blend it sometimes, but most of our CSA folks didn't really know what to do with it.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting. All right. Bunching greens and fall plantings, I guess.
I grow mosh.
Mm, right.
It's
Any experience?
very sweet and very fast growing and a lovely fall planting.
How's the reception at with your customers?
People love it. It's got an unusual taste and people love it.
Mm.
We, for many years, have been doing the salad mix from Johnny's, the mustard mix. It's got tatsoi and kale and mizuna and a bunch of stuff. And it's really good and makes lovely bunches. But
MC, do you
really,
bunch that when it's big? Like how tall is it when you bunch it?
yeah, it's probably like that tall minimum.
And you just like direct sew it in like you were gonna cut it for a mustard mix and just let it go tall.
Yep.
Cool.
But we're really interested in maybe doing like a headed mustard or like tatsoi, some type of Asian green this year. So I'm curious if there's any of those that people like.
We did like big mustard bunches this year for the first time in a while. I think we were growing Red Giant from Donnie's. And it's really beautiful. It was a little bolty in the spring, but in the fall it's been like pretty awesome. And people are pretty into it.
We used to do that a long time ago, and people were not that into it. But I must say, the red mustard, I feel like it changed this year. I bought seed this year, and it looked completely different to previous years. So I don't know what happened. Yeah. Chicory. Well, I must say I started growing. Sorry, I don't know if somebody started talking. Some escarole and frisee for the first time this year, and it was funny because I posted on Instagram and Elliot joked that like, oh, you're gonna have like such all the you're gonna bring out all the escarole lovers to the market, and I was like, oh, really? I don't think I harvested enough, and he was like, no, I'm joking. Like nobody loves frisee or something like that, and I was like,
I
oh
love
no.
it, and I love escarole, and they both grow like really well and easily. I do
So well.
the alliance,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's gorgeous, and they these big beautiful heads.
Yeah, totally. And like I was surprised by the reception. Like people were buying it, even in our small town. So that was encouraging. And then the escarole just lasts forever. I mean, frisee too. So it's just so nice.
What
Were you guys,
do you
sorry, go
use?
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna echo that. I think the Alliance just looks so good that people like it at market and they'll just convince themselves it's lettuce.
Yeah, 100%.
You,
Can you guys talk about your bunching or your blanching methods for frisee if you have it? Like, do you guys band them? Do you not band them?
I must say I had to process the frisee quite a bit towards the end. So basically like taking off a lot of bottom leaves and then like trimming it up. So, but we never blanched it.
Same for us. We did a lot actually, and once we had to kind of convince our CSA folks to try it, and most of them liked it when they did, but it does take a little bit of work, kind of trimming it and bottom leaves and so on. But
There's a recipe I keep pushing. It's like a Thomas Keller, like Danielle Boulud, something or other. It's basically how to turn frisee into meat. You do a pound of bacon, bunch of frisee, and some eggs. It's really good. Yeah, but it takes education.
Yeah, so that was any specific varieties that you liked with the frisee or any of the other ones?
We have done Natasha
Mm,
escarole for years and years. And it's
right.
just, it gets massive and stays
Wait, you
tender.
can still find it?
Maybe. I mean, I did get a big jug of it. Let me
Okay,
check.
if you find it again this year or next time you find it, can you let me know where you find it? I love Natasha and I couldn't find it anywhere,
Really?
and
They
I'm
not
very
offering
sad.
it
I
anymore?
mean, Alliance was nice. It's no
That's
shade
why
to
I
an
was looking
Alliance.
for it last year after last year's seed discussion and I couldn't find it. So,
Oh no, I don't know if anybody's offering it.
I think
uh-oh.
so. I remember that someone from a seed company telling me that like if something is too bolt resistant, then they can't actually get it to go to seed. And so I'm wondering if that was the Natasha problem where like they actually couldn't get it to go to seed.
Well, good news. I have 3 plants that I'm trying to overwinter at the moment. So
Cool. Okay,
if
yeah,
I
you
can
should
keep
save seed
alive
from
for the
that.
winter, get it to sprout in the spring. Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
has.
do
I
it.
think the companies that they're all in like Canada.
Yeah. I did get like 30 seeds from some random guy in his garden somewhere.
Okay, we don't have a ton of time left. So, let's go through the last few quickly. Radishes.
We did the mini purple daikon from Johnny's, and they're so yummy and they're so productive and they're so cute, and none of the CSA members want them, but I don't care.
That's the thing with daikon every year. It's like you have way too much at the end. Oh God. Does anyone have a good French breakfast actually? I stopped growing them because there's just no good varieties now.
I tried, there were a couple new ones this year. Hold on, sorry, I have to get my information. Keep talking.
Okay. We'll come back to you, Rachel.
we do
Uh,
one from high mowing, but the thing about them is that you just have to get them really, really young, really small and really young. Otherwise,
mm,
Yeah, they're woody and
hollow.
hollow. Yeah.
They have to be harvested really early.
Hippie. Yeah. Okay, so really quickly, who submitted like flower topics from this group?
I submitted a question, but I don't see it here about top
Really?
selling like flower seedlings.
It might be in the miscellaneous.
Ah, okay. There it is. Okay.
Anybody else?
I submitted, this is Alicia. Somehow my video's not on, but
Oh, we
I,
can see you.
oh, you can. Okay, very
Yeah.
good. So I submitted dahlias.
Okay. I don't know if you were here, entered the chat room early enough, but we were talking about perhaps doing a separate variety discussion for flowers. Since that would probably, pull together more flower growers.
I think that's a great idea. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe Ella, we can kind of think about maybe doing that, and then for now we'll kind of skip over the
Yeah,
flowers.
that's
Absolutely. That sounds amazing.
Okay, great. Um, so yeah, Rachel, have you got the
I grew Nelson. Which one were you guys talking about just now?
yeah.
Um,
For radishes, you mean?
yeah, I didn't catch the name that Stephen was saying, but
Oh, Holly, I
no,
think it was you guys talking about it. Holly and Steven. Which
Yeah,
variety are you talking about?
French breakfast. Sorry, I'll look it up and put it in the chat.
okay, Nelson is the one that we grew, and I liked it a lot more than the organic French breakfast from High Mowing or the Davignon from Johnny's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we
They
had
had
organic from High Mowing.
Yeah, no good. But also there was one Patricia, I think, where they like dangled it in front of me and then it was sold out, but I'm intrigued to try it, so I might try to try it again this year.
Right. I feel like we tried that one year. They're all not good.
But
Okay.
the people so desperately want the French breakfast radishes. Like
They're
that's
just
all they want.
like way less productive than red
I
radishes.
know.
in my garden.
Let's just charge like $10 a bunch for them.
Okay. All right. Last 8 minutes. We'll see how many we can get through this. Top sellers in your seedling sale last season. Go.
Basil, sun golds.
Wait, did you? Oh, I thought you froze for a sec. Okay. Basil sungolds.
Any plum or paste that we can grow, it just goes.
Can I also add to that question, like, is it selling early May, mid-May, late May, early June?
We do one
Does
seedling.
everyone do their seedling sale in May?
We do our seedling sale the weekend after Mother's Day.
Yeah, ours is usually like the middle weekend in May, and then we leave the store open for orders after that, and we bring some to market, but it declines a lot.
I second the basil and the sun golds. Also, cucumbers are pretty popular.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did try beans for the first time this year just because it's like for the longest time I was like just buy bean seeds and just stick it in the ground. But then I'm like, you know what? It's so easy, I'll do it. And it sold pretty well. So if you want easy money. Um
Also, when I sell lettuce, I like feel a little disingenuous. I'm like, you're paying like $1 a plant for this lettuce, and then you're gonna grow. I don't know, but the
yeah.
people want it, so who am I to stand in their way?
Hey, it can be a cut and come again.
Does anybody have any good
True.
pole bean variety? We tried Seychelles and the germination was about 10%
We're
over
talking
three
about
plants.
what? Beans?
Seychelles pole bean
Hmm.
because we direct seeded 3 times and the germination each time was about 10 to 20%.
Hmm. That's just your seeds.
Don't talk about my seeds like that.
I think what do we grow? Beans. Oh yeah, we did provider and we also did the yeah, do people grow haricots? We tried that this year and
Oh, yeah.
honestly it gets mixed in with the other stuff and it's like you can't even separate them
I
after.
do red tail, and they're like smaller and darker green and tastier, I think, than provider.
We do a lot of haricot, but we also do a pole bean called rattlesnake, which is really good.
Yeah, we've done that. We did that this year. We've done it in the past. I just want like a green bean.
The thing about the rattlesnake beans, Adam, You farm, we were like, oh, pole beans, bah, you have to trellis them, but they're so much easier on the body than sitting on a bucket and harvesting haricot and like this. So the rattlesnakes were great. And then when they get a little big, they're still sweet and crunchy. So they were really good. People love them.
But you have to
And they'd never
stay on
heard of
top of
them.
those too.
You have to stay on top of them. And also customers are like, what are those streaks? Why is it striped? Why does it have black streaks on it? They're so good. They're like candy. Give them one raw and then they'll
Yeah, they're fantastic. The issue is they get so tall so fast that even with like a cattle panel,
yeah.
ends up topping over and becomes so dense at the top that you can't even find the beans.
Yeah, yeah. But it's less brutal than sitting over an haricot like this, crunched down and
Agreed. It's just it
but
was so bad last year. We had to lift the entire thing up to get underneath it.
yep.
All right, interesting easy greens per CSA.
Just grow dandelion greens, and then after your CSA pickup ends, they'll all still be there.
Oh, that's so true.
We did the Johnny's mixes for cut greens.
Like
And
Encore?
I don't know which one I did. I can't
We did Encore. It did pretty well into the fall.
we plant every 2 weeks, I think. We seed every 2 weeks, and we can get a couple harvests out of a seedings depending on the time of year. But I don't know which one we did. Oh, look. Yeah, it was a lettuce mix. I think it was it? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. It was just a lettuce mix. We tried the brassica mixes. A few years ago they did really well, and then we just can't, no matter what we do, keep the flea beetles off of them. And it just doesn't make sense anymore.
All right, next one. I'm like just kind of like reading these topics, I feel like for the first time, but heat tolerant cool season crops. That's interesting.
That's confusing.
Yeah. Um, anyone have any ideas? Heat tolerant. Right. So it's like something that somebody maybe wants to have like for a full season so it can get past the summer and then into the cool season.
Or maybe something that, I'm just guessing, but maybe something that, that you grow cool, but now the weather being what it is, it's not always cool when it's supposed to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Katarina is great for cabbage. Oh, and we did what was it? It was a spinach chard this year for the first time.
What is that?
It's a chard. It's just more, it's a softer on the mouth chard, and it just did really, really, really well. It's perpetual spinach chard. I can't remember
Is it on Johnny's?
I maybe Fedco or Territorial. I don't remember who we got it through.
Is it called spinach chard?
Perpetual spinach chard. Maybe it was I don't know.
Hmm. That's interesting. So how do you harvest?
I got it from Territorial.
How do you harvest them?
Same thing you do chard. It just gets more bushy instead of like a long stalk like chard will get. This gets more bushy. I did
Right.
have a couple bolt, but the others did fantastic. And they didn't get hit yet with the cold, like the chard got hit with the cold.
Whoa, I've never heard of this. So interesting.
It's
So-
much thinner stemmed and much softer. It doesn't have that really chardiness to it that some people don't like.
So you cut it loose or you bunch it?
We bunch it. You can do loose they're small.
What's
But-
like the biggest the leaf gets?
Same as a chard, not as wide, but about the same length. I would say
Oh.
like 6 inches at the most.
Huh.
It's great.
Huh. So you, yeah, keep harvesting it like chard.
Yeah, it's more bushy. It doesn't get that stalk.
Okay.
Or I just didn't harvest it enough. to get the stock. I don't know.
Cool. It's 8 o'clock, so if Ella, I don't know if you want to have a hard cutoff. I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes.
I'm happy to stay on. I mean, this is a farmer-led thing, so whatever you guys want to do, let's do it.
All right, well, if
Could
you
you
go, feel free. We'll just go through a few more of these then.
We could also ask if anyone on the call has one that they have that we haven't gotten to yet,
Right.
in
That's
case we're like working on ones that nobody here needs to know.
All right, so whose topics have we haven't covered yet?
I have one question that I thought of after the submission time, which is actually when we toured your place with the group earlier in the summer, I think you talked about, I think it was ginger or was it turmeric, like growing one or both of those? Ginger. Is that just kind of curious about growing that? Is that cold season, all season?
So yeah,
With conditions?
right. So we do like a pre-sprouting, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they start growing or sprouting necessarily. I would say maybe like, well, we have succession. So the earliest one goes into the ground inside, I would say like mid to late April or something. And at that time, a lot of them are like, they don't have roots. They're just starting to bud maybe. So they're like, but then you've got them going. And then by the time we do our field planting, I think that's like probably early May. And by that time, some of them have roots, but some of them might not. And yeah, they're just, we don't really do much to them after we plant them. And we come back when we harvest them in September or October.
Mine were so slow to grow and so tiny, as you know. I think I showed you some images, Yoko.
Yeah.
Do they prefer the moist soil, the dry soil, lots of sun?
Honestly, I feel like they are okay either way. I mean, one year I remember it was a super wet year, and I was talking to Ian about this too, and he was like, Ginger loves like um a wet environment because I think he's did really well in the wet conditions. But then this year it was very dry, and they did totally fine in that condition as well. So um yeah, I don't know. They're like a no-brainer, honestly. I don't know. It's harder. But so for the pre-sprouting, I do have it on heat mats, but I kind of stack the trays. So, and then we rotate them so that not the same tray isn't on the heat mat directly every night. And the ones on the top aren't getting that much heat, but at least like a little residual heat. And yeah, we always keep them on the heat at night and then spread them out during the day and water them. But yeah, if you put on the heat mats, it does tend to dry pretty quickly near the heat mat, so you got to make sure it's like actually wet. But I don't know. Other than that, we don't really do too much to them.
Yoko, you grow a succession outside with like no cover, no nothing
No,
successfully?
nothing at all. And the outdoor ones grow a lot better for us because inside we have them growing like next to something on the shoulders. So it's usually like next to cucumbers or tomatoes or peas or something. So they don't get much sun. So it doesn't grow that big, but it's still totally worth it. And then outside they just grow really well because they have all the sunlight they need and yeah. I mean, they can tolerate quite a bit of cold, so it's not like, you know, it's definitely not like a summer crop like a okra or something. They're very susceptible to cold.
Where do you get your seed from?
It's from Hawaii Clean
Oh,
Seed.
that place.
Yeah, they only have like one variety at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
A Peruvian or something. Yeah, so this one. But I did hear from a lot of farmers that their lot was compromised in some way and that they had a terrible ginger a year this year. Some people have contacted me through Instagram, and so I think there were bad lots. But I feel like that's the risk that you run with ginger. One time we bought from Fedco, and a lot of them had like blue mold on them.
Same thing. I bought from Fedco. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, well, but they replaced it and it was fine. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Anybody else have topics that weren't covered?
I put callaloo on here. I'm no, it's unlikely anyone else grows it, but it's really hard to find like any kind of specific. It's callaloo for greens, not for like amaranth for flowering. I'm wondering if anybody has any leads or varieties or anything like that that work well.
I haven't grown it, but one of my customers at the farmer's market gave me a bag of seeds that I am going to trepidatiously try to start a little bit of. So if that works, I can give you more information and probably even give you some of the seed if it's working out. But I don't know what, I mean, she just gave it to me, so I don't even know what variety it is or anything like that.
Amazing.
I think doesn't Will from Hungry Reaper grow it?
I'm not sure. I can ask him though. That's a good
Yeah, you should
lead.
ask him because they grow pretty unusual stuff, and I feel like I've seen that. Anybody else? Charlene, Marley, Sarah, haven't heard from you that much.
Sarah, so nice to see you, by the way.
What's that? Who was
I
that?
said, Sarah, so nice to see you. I haven't seen her in a long time. Nice to see you. She's on mute. Anyway, Yoko, thanks. This was really, as always, really enjoyable. And
Yeah, thanks for
I
joining us.
appreciate everyone's contributions and sharing their expertise.
Yeah.